Lockdowns will happen again till we see the average man wake the fuck up. That is the subject of today's video. So somebody asked me about my opinion on lockdowns, and that pretty much sums it up. If the average man would just wake the fuck up and say, yeah, enough of this bullshit, we'll never have lockdowns ever again. Like, one of the biggest priorities we should have when it comes to amending the Constitution in the future is ensure what happened during 2020 never happens again under any fucking circumstance. Ever. Again. I mean, ever again. This should never happen again. What we experienced in 2020, that was unacceptable. Our freedoms got defecated on by politicians, and they got away with it. Any politician who was in power that went after people's freedoms during the pandemic, that person should never, ever be allowed to serve office ever again. Because people should do everything they can to ensure those people cannot serve office under any circumstance. Because they just will vote them out, or if they decide to try to get back in power like what's happening to Donald Trump, they vote against him, because Donald Trump is part of the problem when it came to the lockdowns. A lot of people just ignore that aspect, and I'm not going to give him any excuses. He did a shitty job handling the pandemic. I don't understand why a lot of Trump supporters give him a free pass. They're like, well, it was the pandemic. I'm like, okay, so the government can shit on our freedoms as long as it's pandemic. Fuck that. Any politician that shit on our freedoms during the pandemic, I don't care what party you're in, that was unacceptable. We need to make sure that never happens again. Because if we allow it to happen again, either scenario A, we don't have enough power of our government to actually have the government represent us, which that's pretty heavily likely. Or scenario B, we learn nothing. We just allowed the government to infringe on our freedoms, and we learned absolutely nothing.